Good morning, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. It's good to have you. We still have about 7 minutes, so we'll just stay on the call as we wait for everyone else to join here. Thank you so much for keeping time and for joining today's session. We'll just give it 5 to 10 minutes, wait for everybody to come on, and then we'll start. Thank you. Hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning to you today. I hope everyone is well. I'd like to recognize one of our facilitators that is on the call already, Miss Atrina Sabrina. Thank you so much for joining us. You are most welcome. And every participant that is on this call as well, we definitely thank you for being here. Aaron Mugabi, Amanya Darius, Dan Musingozi, we have Tima, we have Mary Leonard Danye, Lee Jacobson, James Chaba Sumaya, Rebecca Solomon, Shira Arini Chester Nonga, Habat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And also a special thanks to those participants that are always with us every single week. We hope that you are finding these sessions very, very helpful as you navigate your career journey. My name is Natasha Katondachi. I am an entrepreneur and I also serve at Cavendish University as the Careers and Employability Officer. I also happen to be your designated moderator for all the Career Essential sessions as organized by Bakash Media Foundation. And today we'll be having yet another session and we'll be discussing navigating finances as a freelancer. So right now it's 4 minutes past 11. Let's just give it a 1 or 2 minutes as we try to get our other facilitator on the call, and then we'll be able to kick off. In the meantime, please let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and maybe what you expect from today's session, such that we can be able to cover as much as we can this hour that we have. All right, still have more people joining us. As we get ready to kick off, please feel free to use the chat and let us know who you are and where you're joining us from. Would love to know who we have today. Okay, as we do that, it's now 16 minutes past 11, so I think we'll get right into it. So the Future of Work is a program that is designed under the Career Essentials Initiative, organized by Bakash Media Foundation in collaboration with the Innovation Village to help young people who are navigating their career path, give them insight on what they need to know as they start out in their careers, for those that are looking to be employed, but also those that want to create their own employment, depending on what your area of niche is. So these sessions have been going on since March, late March. We have been mostly having online sessions, and we're also planning to have some physical sessions towards the end of the series. And what we have been looking at in this season is the future of work. So in there, we get to discuss attributes like balancing work and personal life, taking care of your wellness, minding your wellness, freelancing, tech tools in the world of freelancing. Today, we are covering how to manage your finances as a freelancer, and so many other areas that could be helpful as you kick off your career. So today we have our facilitators that are knowledgeable about the area of managing finances as a freelancer. And without wasting any more time, I'd like to take the honor to invite Miss Sabrina Atwine, who is a lawyer by profession, but also the product manager at Innovation Village, and she manages the Freelancers Lounge, which is an initiative or a program that is also very helpful for young career people who would like to become freelancers. So she's going to tell us more about what the Freelancers Lounge does. Since Bakash Media Foundation is in partnership with the Innovation Village, how can participants of this series also get to benefit from the Freelancers Lounge? And then we will also get into what it means to be a freelancer, and then how does finances enter the equation So how can you then, as a freelancer, manage your finances? Then after that, we have another facilitator that we are expecting. And once Sabrina is done, I'll take the honor to invite them as well so that they can give us a deep dive into this topic. You are very welcome. Miss Sabrina, please turn your camera on, and we are looking forward to learning from you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Natasha. The camera part. Let's see how that works. Can you see me? Out
Yes,
of the You can,
yes,
yeah?
we can see you, and we're so happy to see you today.
All right. Thank you for having me for this session. I'm excited, and you did a good introduction. I don't think I should get into it again. But basically, what we do at the Freelancers Lounge is that we are building a community of independent young professionals. Specifically, we are working with people who have digital skills. So here I'm talking about graphics designers, I'm talking about data analysts, I'm talking about developers, I'm talking about, tech writers, content creators, anyone that has a skill that is digital. So these are the people at the moment that we are working with, even though we plan in the future to, make it a community of so many other talents, not necessarily digital. Yeah, so what we are doing is that we are giving these independent workers recognition and appreciation and support in terms of knowledge, in terms of resources, but mostly really the benefits that they don't get from, not being traditional employers. Things like insurance. Very soon we are launching a product. And if you're not part of our community, you can check on our website, Freelancers Lounge, www.flx.com. And then you can join the community so that you are one of the people who get to be informed once these products are released. But we are working on very awesome and cool products for freelancers. Usually freelancers are excluded from some of these things. Say, for example, access to finance. The grants that are always put up usually are for startups. They are for companies that are established, that are so formal, which puts freelancers out of the scope from benefiting from some of these things. But we are here as the Freelancers Lounge to bridge that gap. Yeah, so very soon we will be launching a fund specifically for freelancers under our community where we can asset finance them and invoice finance them. We are putting together our financial partners, our insurance partners to, package it very well. So you can join our community and join the wait list to be one of the people to benefit from these products once we release them. But we are also working on a directory. So far, we've been actively working for like a year or so. And we've put together a very big community of about 800 plus freelancers right now. And we are working on a directory where companies and organizations can reach out to us to outsource like talent. We had a conversation the other day with Enable, and they told us that sometimes they have like opportunities. They don't even have like that database. Yeah. So we are sort of putting together like a database that not necessarily gig matchmaking, but just really putting together that database of high quality freelancers, high quality talent, to collaborate with different gig partners that are already available, like WAPI, so that when jobs or companies are hiring, they know at least there's a place they can trust, that they can find someone who can work on them. Yeah, so that's partly what we do, but we also host awesome events just like this one that we are attending. And for us, most of our events are physical. So if you follow us on our Twitter, FLX Africa, you'll be able to keep in touch with everything that we are working on and benefit from it. So that's pretty much it in regards to the Freelancers Lounge. If you have any questions, you can bring them on later. So now I would prefer to get into the topic. Yeah, so we are having a discussion around managing our finances as freelancers. And for me, when they presented this topic for me, I looked at it from the aspect of key performance indicators and return on investment. I don't know if these are concepts or principles that are familiar with you, but I'll do my best to break it a little bit down. I know most of you probably came here thinking I'm going to tell you about, oh, open bank accounts or do savings, but I'm not a financial expert. I guess maybe Natasha will bring for you a financial expert sometime who will tell you about that. But me as a product manager, one of my, one of the things that keep me up is results. And I think finance is also like a result. And I think there are so many principles and structures that companies have that they rely on to like be productive and like perform better, that freelancers usually think are not connected to them. And this is KPIs. I know Natasha right now, she's in employment. She knows what KPIs are. So these specifically are those like guidelines, those indicators that you follow that help you know that you are achieving, whatever target that you did, that you had. So that means then that if you're a freelancer and you think some of these structures don't connect with you, it is very easy for you to like get lost. Yeah. So that means that however much companies have their own KPIs, even us as freelancers, we need to set our own KPIs that are tailored specifically to our to our field. So the objective for my session particularly is to how to understand the importance of KPIs and how we can set them and understand how we can use them to boost our finances. So as a freelancer, managing your finances can be very, very challenging because our income is so scattered. Like there are months when you're working and then there are months when you're not getting anything at all, which makes it very important for us to have effective, management plans that inform our financial decisions. So KPIs specifically are these like measurables that indicate how effectively you're achieving your business objectives as a freelancer. They help to like track your performance and they help to make you really data, driven so that you make decisions that are informed in in your business. So I'll give an example of some of the KPIs that I believe are very crucial when it comes to freelancers. And one of them could be client acquisition. I think it's very important for you to like track how you acquire your what? How you acquire your customers, how you attract your customers because it incurs some costs in it. Do you do like some social media like marketing? And if you do, how much money do you like invest into that client acquisition cost? And at the end of the day, when you put in that cost to your client acquisition, does it bring in any return back? Or you just like post and you don't even like follow up, yet you have invested the money in what? The money in it. So we are going to be looking at it from the nexus of KPIs and how KPIs speak into the return on investment to ensure that our finances are what? Are boosted. The other example I can look at is the project profitability, which is basically the net profit that you get from a what? From a project. So when you get like a project and you look at probably maybe the resources that you input, like the things that you use to like complete that project. At the end of the day, the money that you stay with when you conclude that project, does it have like any profits? Have you made any profits? Or throughout the making of the project, you spent like too much to the extent that you didn't even like stay with any extras of the what? of the project. So all those are things that you need to like take good, take good consideration of. Look at your billable versus non-billable hours. What is the time spent on billable tasks versus those that are administrative tasks? And look at the total cost of like, acquiring like new clients and even maintaining them and retaining them. So if I had like the time, they've told me we have only 10 to 15 minutes. We could just even like, just like draft specifically what like the KPIs uh, are for freelancers. But for now, that's really like the the overview of what it looks like, getting into specifics and saying that this is the amount of money that I want to like earn at the end of the month. And I want to make sure that I do this and that to make sure that at the end of the month, I actually have that amount. Then now we get into the return of investment. What is return on investment? Return on investment is basically the measure, those kinds of like measures that you use to weigh the gain or loss generated on an investment that is relative to the amount of what money invested. For example, let me see. Freelancers, I don't know if we have so many like developers here or content creators. We use like so many system like softwares that simplify our workflows. Yeah. And for some of these, we pay for them. We pay subscription fees. Say, for example, if you're using Canva to create your designs, yeah, you're paying for it like at the end of the what, you're paying monthly. If you're like a data analyst and maybe you're using Google Analytics, you're going to like have to like use that software to optimize your workflow. So now return on investment is that kind of like measure, yeah? So you have to like measure, okay, I've invested this amount of money on this system or on this website, but how much am I getting out of it at the end of the what? At the end of the day. If you find you're not making any profits out of it, it's not like helping you do like spend lesser than you would have spent like otherwise, then you're not doing a great job. So it's sort of like that kind of measure. What losses have I made and what gains have I made out of what? Out of this investment. I don't know if anyone has a question at this point that I could take before we proceed. Do we have
Okay,
any
maybe
questions?
I'll just jump in there, Sabrina, just to highlight that please feel free to take your time because looks like we'll not be having another facilitator. So if there are things that you wanted to cover, you can also cover their time.
All right, no problem. Thank you for sharing
Okay.
that. Yeah, so I can give a simple formula on how we can calculate our ROI. Yeah. So for example, you could look at like the net profit that you achieve maybe from a project, and then you get that, divide it with the cost of like investment. Say, for example, you paid $500 for a marketing cost that leads you into maybe at the end of the day earning like $2,000. There you've made like an achievement. If you invest like $500 for a marketing course, and then you know that at the end of the day, whatever you learn from that marketing course, you're going to like get maybe 2 times of that amount, then that's something that is worth investing in. So be very strategic when you're planning on where to like put the money. So this, I already told you that Freelancers Lounge, we are coming up with a fund to, support some of like the activities or the programs that freelancers have or the expenditures that they have to spend. But one of the requirements that we are going to be asking for is a plan. We are going to need a business like model kind of like plan from you. We want to know if we give you this invoice invoice financing, are you going to actually make more money out of it so that you are able to like pay us back? It is sort of like in form of like a loan, but very affordable, and we give you really like enough time. There's no pressure, so you can go really and like work on your project, and then when you get the money, you pay us back at a small interest. But then if you're not good at like making some of like these plans, we might not give you our money, because we also want to be sure that after you're going to do what? Benefit from it. Yeah, so I'll say this again. We are independent workers. Yes, very nice and sweet. We like our freedom. Perfect. No one is saying that's a bad thing. We like our independence, our freedom. But let's always remember that companies or startups or organizations and entities, the processes and structures they have, and this is like my unpopular opinion. Most people think that these are like two different like areas, companies and then freelancers. But for me, I think that a freelancer is like a company herself or himself. So which means that you have the burden to like copy from the structures of these companies for you to perform and deliver and not be frustrated, because the only thing that keeps them going really is that they have these structures that guide them, and most freelancers don't. We just work for like someone would say. Yeah, so let's be mindful about these, and then we incorporate them in our processes, and work will be more simplified. Yeah, so we are going to find out, now that we understand what ROI is and understand what KPIs are, we are going to find out that these can be linked. There's a linkage between KPIs and ROIs. If you monitor KPIs very well and you set them very well and they are very achievable, they are very specific. You remember that SMART principle that companies use in their structures. So if you also attach it to your KPIs, you will find that at the end of the day, it is going to directly impact on how you get back what? Returns in your processes. So strategies to improve KPIs can directly lead to a better ROI. For example, if you reduce on your client acquisition costs, or if you reduce on your client acquisition costs, that means that it is going to help you in increasing your project profitability, because you are not spending much. So if you're not spending much on that, then that means that if you work on a project, you're going to stay with some money of that of that project. So these are some of the practical tips or tools I could share that you can use to, track these. Natasha, please feel free to let me know when I should stop in case the next speaker comes in, or if there's any question in the comment section, because I'm not looking there. Yeah, that will be helpful. All right. Yeah, so you can use simple tools like recently I learned how to use Airtable. I don't know if anyone knows Airtable, but Airtable is a no-code tool that can be used to organize sort of like a database, simple databases. But it is very cool and simple to use. So you can leverage on tools like Airtable to put together your finance like database, and how to like track your income, your expenses, and how to calculate these returns. You can also use financial softwares like QuickBooks and FreshBooks. Yeah, and these ones can help you to, include even your regular financial reviews, budgeting, and then you are able to like stick to what? Stick to these. But remember, if you do not set your KPIs right in a very accurate way, it might be very hard for you to even do what? Get better results in terms of the return on investment and all these other things. Yeah, let me try looking at some of the financial KPIs that I can share with you in specifics, and then we see how to move forward. So the first one that I shared on finance specifically is income versus expense ratio. So this KPI is specifically, please note this down if you have your notebook, because we don't want excuses after. I know Natasha wants to make sure that after these sessions, when you go back home, you actually have results. Yeah. So make sure that some of the financial KPIs that you have, you include the income that you get versus the expense ratio. So here you are measuring the proportion of the income that is relative to the expenses that you have. And the formula is just really simple math. Total income divided by total what? Expenses. And that gives you the what? The result that you want, which will tell if you're doing a great job or a terrible job. The second one is revenue growth rate. So for revenue growth rate, here we are basically tracking the rate at which your revenue is increasing over a period of what? Of time. So are you going forward or are you going backwards? So how we calculate this is that you're going to look at the current period revenue. So for example, maybe you're calculating from January up to now, since we are halfway into the year. So you could put together how much you have earned from January up to now, and then or maybe let's use a month. Let's use a month. Say for example, in May you earned maybe 1K, and then right now in June, you've earned maybe 500 USD, I don't know, whatever that you have earned. So what you do here is that you get that current period revenue, and then you subtract the previous period revenue, and then you divide with the previous one out of 100, of course. And that will give you how you're performing in regards to your revenue growth. It's sort of like those charts that we see that show if you're going upwards or if you're going downwards. And the reason for doing some of these things is that it advises you on now what you should do, what you should change in your processes. Are you spending so much money on internet? Are you spending so much money on maybe marketing? Are you spending so much money on software maintenance? So you check. Remember, we have our database from Airtable or even Excel sheet. So you keep going back to it, and then you see what's dropping and what's doing so badly. Then the other one is the most simple one, I guess, the profit margin, which indicates how much your income is profitable after your expenses. So you're doing your net profit divide by your total revenue, multiply by what? 100. And then it will give you your profit margin. Yeah. And then also, you can also set a KPI for average revenue per client. Per client, averagely, how much do you make off a client? Yeah. It's also very important to do what? To know and structurize in your process. Yeah. Sorry, my friends are hearing me talk about math here, yet they know I suck at it, so they are dying. Yeah, but I guess there's a moment for, everything. Yeah, then of course the other one is cash flow. So when you're looking at your cash flows, basically you're measuring the amount of cash that you are transferring into or out of your what? Out of your business. Yeah. So those are some of the KPIs that I put together specifically for finances, but there are so many others that are very important for freelancers. Productivity, those that govern your productivity. I had already shared about you actually looking into your billable hours, looking into your client acquisition cost, looking into your project completion rate, look at how many percentages you work on in a particular time. Because freelancers, we work, how we like progress or grow is by how many projects we complete and how much money we get from those projects. So it's important to like calculate, when I take on a project, do I finish it in 3 days? Do I finish it in 2 days? And one of you might be wondering how that aligns with finance management, but how that aligns is that if you're able to know how you work or deliver on a task, it then advises you on how many other tasks you're going to take on in a month. And that at the end of the day increases how much money you're earning. So, or even how many customers you're retaining. Because if you tell a customer that you're going to finish there, I know I have some people here who are active freelancers, and they usually get frustrations from customers. Customers hate it when they give you a project and you tell them that in 2 weeks I'm going to be able to, uh, submit the project complete and done to you. And then after the 2 weeks, you do not submit it. That's how freelancers lose their clients, because they get frustrated and they're like, you know what? I'm done with you, Sabrina. I'm done with you, Natasha. And then you find you now have to get into more costs of, getting more clients, which really takes a lot of time. So if these are things that you work on strategically before you get into some of these issues, for me, really, I think that it is a powerful way on how you can grow your finances, how you can manage them, and how you can even satisfy your customers. Yeah. So the other KPIs are also in regards to client satisfaction KPIs. Look at your client retention rate. Yeah. If you have 10 customers that you worked on in May, in June, did you lose all those customers, or did those customers stay? If you find that your customers are not being retained, then there's a problem. And that at the end of the day will affect your what? Your finances. So make sure that you measure the percentage of clients who continue to do business with you over a period of what? Over a period of time. And then also make sure that you follow up with them. Ask them, why are they sticking with you? Or if you have a client that was coming to you maybe oftenly for you to do a service for them, and then you notice that it's been like a month and they have not been contacting you, follow up with them, find out what happened. If they tell you what you did wrong, it will save you 10 other clients that you're going to do what? To lose. And the beauty of that is that your finances get to be safe a little bit if you do not have to lose so many what? So many clients. So let's be very intentional about our businesses. Yeah, in as much as we are working independently and alone, let's look at it as a company. Actually, let me not even say let's look at it as a company. It is a company. It is a business. You are the finance guy. You are the marketing person. It almost has, even though you're working alone, it almost has all departments that companies have. Yeah, so just use the same structures. Yeah, and then lastly, I think the last one is on efficiency. Do those measurements on the average project duration. I think I'd already talked a little bit about that. Uh, Take time to find out how much time you spend to complete the project, and then the percentage of revenue that goes towards that ahead of, like, before you even like get into it. And then marketing itself, do you have to like put in so much money to like market yourself? Even debts, how many debts do you have, and how do you like manage them? So those are things that you guys might have to like take up on and be very intentional about. Yeah, so I think that was it from my end. And I really hope that by tracking these KPIs, freelancers, independent workers can gain insights into their financial health, productivity, client satisfaction, efficiency, and marketing effectiveness. I hope that these indicators will help you in making informed decisions when it comes to your finance management. Thank you so much for having me. I remain Atwine Sabrina, the product manager for the Freelancers Lounge. It's been a pleasure. Over to you, Natasha.
Wow, thank you so much, Sabrina. Thank you. I think you have a very, very great acumen on what it means to be a freelancer and how they can manage the different attributes that come with freelancing. I think there could not have been a better speaker on this topic. So thank you so much. You have done an excellent job on breaking this down. Sabrina has talked about the Freelancers Lounge, what they're doing at the Freelancers Lounge, supporting you to become independent professionals in your different areas or niche of business that you have decided to take on. They have said they are building products that are going to help you. So please get in touch with her to see how, through the collaboration with Bakash Media Foundation and the Innovation Village, how, if you are a freelancer, you can get to be part of the Freelancers Lounge. I'll also ask you, Sabrina, kindly to share any resources on the chat regarding the website and how people can sign up. She also mentioned that as freelancers, it's important for us to have KPIs that are tailored to our nature of work, despite the fact that we are not fully structured companies, but we are businesses of our own by the fact that we are freelancers. She also mentioned that when we understand our KPIs, it helps us to base on them and then use them to streamline our incomes. She defined what KPIs are, and they could include things like client acquisition, cost and maintenance, billable and non-billable tasks, return on investment. And she also adds that it is important that you also create your own guiding structures if your business or whatever you're building is to be efficient and that you are to make meaning out of it. She also said there's a linkage between KPIs and return on investment, and the strategies that you implement to improve your KPIs could potentially help you to increase your return on investment. Thank you so much, Sabrina. I think that has been great, and honestly, personally, I've learned a lot. So I hope that our participants have taken something home as well. It is now that time of questions and answers. This has been a very insightful session with so many technical terms. So I expect that we all have many questions. We're going to use both the chat section, and you can also raise your hand. We'll send you a request to unmute, and then you can ask your question in person. In the meantime, as we wait for people to raise their hands or add questions to the chat, we do have two questions from Darius and Dan Musinguzi. I'm going to go through them. There are about 3 questions. So Sabrina, I'm going to kindly ask you, please, to take note of them. I will go through them and then we can address them at a go, the 3 questions, while we wait for other participants to raise their hands or put their questions in the chat. So Darius is asking, what future trends do you see affecting the way KPIs are developed and utilized? And he's also asking, how do you then prepare for the evolution of KPIs in response to the industry changes or the technological advancement? I hope you got that. Darius is asking, what are the future trends that you see that could affect the way KPIs are developed and utilized? And also, how would one prepare for the evolution of those in response to industry changes and technological advancements? And Tan Musinguzi said, this has been an excellent session. Thank you so much, Sabrina. How do you support new freelancers? I believe this is more about how the Freelancers Lounge works and how it supports freelancers. So he's asking, how do you support new freelancers to build quality mailing lists? I believe this is more centered to the aspect of client acquisition. So what email management software would you recommend to new freelancers? He says he has heard of ConvertKit. but he would also like to hear your perspective about email management software that you would consider user-friendly for new freelancers. And then Marvin said, could you kindly reiterate the formula for revenue growth rate? I think let's cover those ones for now as we wait for others to raise their hands so that we do not overwhelm our dear facilitator. Over to you, Sabrina.
Thank you very much, Natasha. I think I'll first take the one for how do we support new freelancers to build quality mailing lists. I'm not exactly a tech guy, a tech system support guy to answer this question. However, as the manager of the Freelancers Lounge, what I know that we are working on at the moment to support some of these things is that part of the things that we are going to release in maybe 2 or 3 weeks is a membership rate card for our freelancers. And it comes with some of these offerings, yeah? So we are giving freelancers space, we are giving freelancers internet, we are giving freelancers insurance, we are also giving freelancers business management tools, and some of them include these mailing lists options. So, and I believe that it would be cheaper for you as a freelancer because you're paying just 300K per month, and this 300K is giving you like 5 or 6 things. So for me, I think that would be cheap. And if you're part of our community, for these very technical questions, we have people, our tech experts, who by default are attached to you by default of you being a member, and they can always support with your strategies, your technical strategies. They can support with how you set up your systems and advise really from like a one-on-one. Yeah, so I would advise everyone to join our community, and we'll be happy to support where we can. Then someone asked about what future trends do you see affecting the way KPIs are developed and utilized? One, of course, is the use of, I think the very first one I can think about is artificial intelligence and machine learning, how to like automate and track its analysis. Is still a little bit like hard because this is like something still very new to the industry and to the audiences that we have. And actually, even AI experts are still struggling to know how to build KPIs that they can share with investors, for example, for AI projects. Because most investors already have things that they look at. For example, are you building for like value? Or if you're building for value, are you actually like earning money from this? And it's still a little bit of a struggle on how people can sell AI. So for me, I think the best way to like build KPIs for such kinds of like trends is impact. If you're able to create an impact, if you're able to show that, for example, an AI project that you're working on is solving a problem, and then you pitch that, for example, maybe to an investor, pitch it to anyone who is interested, I think that can be a KPI. So we need to look at our accuracy and the speed in data collection and real-time insights and predictive analytics to forecast the future performance of these. So at the end of the day, it all goes back to like data. We have to look at it from like a very big, perspective from different stakeholders that are party or that are directly affected by these trends. Yeah, so I think that's what I can say. I don't know if it answers your question, but when we are looking at KPIs, there are always those very, very, very obvious things that anyone is looking at. We are looking at impact. We are looking at the benefit. So if you're able to like figure out whatever you are working on, what its impact is, its positive impact is, what it benefits a particular community or whatever, is it relevant, is it accurate, is it sustainable, then I think that that's like really a much simpler way on how we can leverage KPIs in our evolving industry. Yeah. What was the third question, Natasha? I don't know if I think I forgot. I didn't get it.
No problem. The third person was asking if you could kindly reiterate the formula for revenue growth rate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the formula for revenue growth rates, I think let me just type it in the comment section. Oh, I'm going to put together. I don't know. Do we have like a WhatsApp group or something? I had prepared.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then I'm
Yes,
going
we
to
do.
also
I'll
put
just
together
share the
all
link
these.
right now.
Okay, I'm going to put together the different formulas and I share them. So the revenue growth rates, the one that I said tracks the rate at which your revenue is increasing over a period of time, is that you look at your current period revenue, subtract your previous period revenue, and then you divide by the previous period revenue, then it will give you your revenue growth rate. Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question, Marvin. All right. I'll join the WhatsApp group and put together these formulas and share them anytime from now.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We really appreciate your resourcefulness, Sabrina.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Since there are no other questions, okay, so thank you so much once again, Sabrina. Honestly, this has been so insightful with a great acumen on freelancing and the different financial aspects for freelancers. We really do appreciate your time. You've taken time out of your very busy schedule to share your knowledge with us, and we would never take that for granted. So we really do appreciate you. Right about now, we are going to run a poll. The polls usually help us to gather information on how the session has been and any other feedback that you'd like to give us to help us curate content that is more relevant for you as you kick off your careers. So I'm going to ask you right now, a poll has been launched on your screen. If you look at your screen, you'll see a pop-up with a few questions. Just please take a few seconds of your time to give us that information because it really does help us. Dear facilitator, I'm going to ask you to please not leave us yet. We're going to take a quick virtual photo for purposes of accountability, but also record keeping. So please stay on for a while. And I'm also going to ask everyone to kindly turn their cameras on as we get ready to take our photo while you finish up the poll as well. Please turn your cameras on. We would be happy to see your faces as we take a virtual photo. Like I said earlier, we do have these sessions every single week on the future of work under the Career Essentials initiative. And we do have mostly online sessions, but there are also some physical sessions that are in the pipeline. Maybe I'd like to invite Isaac to take maybe 1 or 2 minutes to just, tell us more about the Future of Work series and when we should expect our physical sessions as we wait for everyone to turn their camera on so that we can take our good photo. Isaac?
Thank you so much, Tash. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, please. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Great. I've just stepped out from one noisy place. Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining us once again this Friday morning for our Career Essential Series, the Future of Work, the work we do with Innovation Village, and of course supported by MasterCard Foundation. Would like to thank you, and to our dear panelists. I've learned a lot today. We organize these sessions, but most times also we don't get time to really learn and listen to what our panelists, we host, our trainers. But this morning I was really attentive and I've learned a lot from my colleague, Sabrina. Thank you so much. I reached out to you, I know on a very short notice, but I'm glad you were responsive and you accepted to join us this morning. And I think there's been a blessing in disguise that our second panelist, trainer, Uncle Mark, who got an emergency and is not well health-wise, didn't make it. But it really gave us so much time to listen from you and learn a lot. And we really appreciate really your craft and the work you're doing with the Freelancers Launch. And we have really learned a lot. Thank you so much to our audience that is always here every Friday. We would like to thank you for always sparing time in these busy working hours to join us every Friday morning. Our physical sessions will be coming up probably in early July, but we'll inform you when that happens. But would like you to visit our pages, see the previous sessions we've been having. They are all recorded and they are shared on our YouTube. So you could kindly check them out and know what we've been doing. But otherwise, thank you so much, Tash, for hosting this discussion every Friday morning. We would like to thank you for engaging the audience and for really making it a very lively training. Thank you so much. And I think, Tash, let me get it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Kindly, those who have not yet finished the poll, we're about to close it. Please just take a few moments of your time. I'm also seeing so many cameras are still off. Please, would love to see your faces and take a photo. We don't want our photo to not have faces. So kindly turn your cameras on, please, if you don't mind. Okay, okay. Awesome, awesome. All spaces are still coming on. We're about to take our photo. So I'll just end the poll now. Thank you so much for all the responses. I'm going to ask everyone to smile on the count of 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Thank you so much. We got that. Thank you so much for making time this morning to be with us. We'll have another session next week, same place. Those who would like to be part of our WhatsApp community, we'll share the link on the group, on the chat. Have a lovely, lovely weekend and see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye.